Hi, everybody, and welcome to the final paper for 658. I just wanted to go over a few things before you get to work on it or as you work on it. The first is this paper is you're going to take your IRI and you're going to develop an intervention program to address the needs of the child that you are working with. You're going to describe how and why you are doing this program, the steps, the activities, and why it's a good idea. You're going to need to have literature. You can use literature that you found during the course. You're going to need to grab some other things as well to say why you're doing what you're doing. And you're going to need to reference everything in an APA format. So if you have any questions about how to use APA formatting, you really need to go back and start looking at the resources that I posted for this classroom, because you will get points off if your references are not APA formatted. I also need to remind you that when you quote, you need to make sure that you have quotation marks and that you're using APA formatting. That doesn't always require quotation marks. You're going to have to look it up, but you cannot just grab from papers. You have to make sure it's formatted, that you're referencing APA. Otherwise, what ends up happening is that ends up being plagiarism. And we really want to avoid plagiarism. You also want to make sure that you're not grabbing from any other papers as well. The only paper that you can grab from is going to be your midterm. And we're going to go over that in a minute as well, how you're going to use that. Now, another thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to discuss the implications for further intervention. So where you see this intervention going in the future. Now, I want you to think back about this class. I mean, this class is about diagnostic teaching. So using assessments to inform us on where we're going to be going in terms of planning and in terms of curriculum planning and how we're speaking to parents. So assessment is going to play a large piece of what you're doing in terms of your final. So you're going to need to put assessments in there. And I don't just mean a little aside. I mean, assessments is a large part of what this final is about, because we don't know how we're going to go forward unless we see how much the child has learned. So you're going to really need to make sure that you have that piece in there as a large part of what you're doing in terms of your final. So I'm going to be looking for certain things when we talk about assessments. And I've laid this all out in the syllabus, and you probably have it in announcements as well. But you want to make sure that you hit every point that, I've given you, because it's going to be really important. The whole reason we're doing that is to really figure out, when you're in the classroom, or if you're in the classroom now, how are you going to use these assessments and what's going to happen with them? And are you just going to keep going forward based on that one assessment, which is the IRI, or are you going to continue to do assessments? So I tried to lay this out in a way that's very user-friendly, but make sure that you're hitting each one of these points. Now, I'm not going to go over each one of them. I'm going to leave them to you, but they are on the syllabus when you look and see what you need to do for this paper. Now, once again, I want to go back to the fact that it needs to be APA formatted. I take off points if it's not APA formatted, and I'm also going to take off points if you don't hit everything that's written out in terms of this final report. And at this point, you really should be formatting everything APA. It's how, if you're going to be doing any research, if you're going to be writing any papers on the wonderful work I know you're going to be doing in your classrooms, people aren't going to accept it unless it's written in a certain format. So you're going to need to be able to do that format. You're also going to need 10 references. The reason for that is because I really want to make sure that you have a literature backup, that you're not just coming up with this from your own minds, and you have great minds and you have good ideas, but you really need to back it up with the research. So I really want to make sure that you're using those references. The biggest advice I can give you about this paper is get it in on time. If you don't get it in on time, you automatically lose 5 points. So let's say you make a mistake and you didn't add in one of the assessment points, you're going to lose more points. So the highest you can get if you give your paper in on time is going to be a 95. If you make a mistake, it goes down and down. I want you to do well. I want you to do well because the bottom line is you need to know how to follow directions. I need to know that you can, because when you start to do your EdTPA, part of it is really going to be about being able to follow directions and doing it in a complete way. This is right before the end. So you really need to get in the habit of being thorough, of really answering the questions fully and hitting all of the points. And getting things in on time is going to be very important as well for that process. So I just had these reminders again, and I'll keep stressing it, use APA formatting. If you have questions, the Writing Center can help you. You can also use all the online resources as well. I'm not looking for you to cut and paste your midterm. I'm not looking for the midterm. I've already seen the midterm. But what I'm looking is for you to take that midterm and build on it. To say, when I did the IRI, I saw this was lacking. And you'll reference what you did in your midterm. And so this is the starting point for Johnny's problem with phonics. So you want to use this as a way to plan your intervention. And once again, read the instructions, hit every point to get full credit. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I want you to do well. And I know you can all do well. You have wonderful minds, and you've really impressed me in this course. So please take the time, get your paper in on time, and let me know if you have any questions, and make sure you hit every point. Good luck.